Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'll be showing you guys how I make my super easy Edikaikong soup. I don't know if I got that right, but yeah. So the first thing I start off with is putting my water leaf in a heated pot. Now make sure that your fire is set to low, so you don't want so much heat. You just want it to steam, and then cover it up and let it steam for a bit for about 2 to 3 minutes. Now as you noticed, I did not add any water or anything to the pot. I just put the water leaf straight into the pot. I'm trying to get it to sip out its own water so that I don't end up with a watery pot of soup. So the next thing I'm doing now is adding my meat and meat stock. Now this was meat that I had cooked the previous day and stored in the fridge, and that's why it looks all bunched up together. But if you're cooking your meat fresh, make sure that you don't add more than half cup of meat stock. You don't want to add too much meat stock because the water leaf would sip its own water out, and if you add a lot of meat stock you end up with very watery soup. So when I was cooking the meat, I made sure I only took just small amount of water that I needed. I stored the leftover meat stock in the freezer, so I only have about, say, not even up to half a cup of meat stock here. As you can see, it's just very little meat stock. So when you add that, you just stir and stir and stir like you see me doing in the video, and you add your fish, your stockfish, your pomo, whatever other additional proteins you want to add. You can add it at this point. And then I'm adding yellow pepper. I honestly only cook my soup with yellow pepper, and I'm adding my onions. This is very optional. You don't have to do this, because I've seen that, you know, some people say it's an abomination to cook local soups with onions, but honestly it works for me and I really like, so I do it all the time. So you can skip that part. So here you're going with your seasoning, whatever seasoning you like to use. Nor chicken is my absolute favorite. And then I'm just adding crayfish, ground crayfish. I always store my crayfish grounded because, you know, it's just easy to work with, and I love crayfish. So you don't have to add this much. Just do whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with. So yeah, I'm just going to stir it. I'm just stirring it, and you know, I will let that cook for a bit. I'm still stirring it, guys. You want to make sure that everything marries each other really nicely. So stir it, cover it, and let it simmer for another 2 to 3 minutes. As you can see, the water leaf has sipped out water, but it's not so bad. Imagine I had a lot of meat stock, it would have been a disaster. So that's why you should really be careful with the meat stock. So the next thing I'm doing is adding my ugu leaf. It looks like a lot, but trust me, if you know how vegetables dissolve in the pot, you know that it's not a lot. And I don't like to use a lot of ugu leaf when I'm cooking my edikaikong, because the soup gets very crunchy and chewy, and I don't like that. So I just use very little ugu leaf. You want to make sure your ratios are right. Don't use too much water leaf, don't use too much ugu. Just find the balance, right? Just find the balance. So as usual, I'm going to stir it and let it cook for a bit. So the next thing I'm doing is adding my palm oil, my red oil. This gives it an amazing taste. If you're team fit farm, you might want to skip the red oil, but I don't think you can make proper Edikaikong soup without red oil. And this soup likes red oil a lot. So I think I don't really measure it, I just eyeball it, but this should be about maybe half a cup of red oil. But if you're making a big batch of soup, you probably need more than that. And if you're making just little portion of soup, you need way less than that. So yeah, just you can just add very little and then see if it's okay if you need to add it. So finally, I am adding periwinkles. I mean, what's a Edikaikong soup without periwinkles? Without some periwinkles? So yeah, this is the last thing I like to add because it cooks very quickly and you don't need to cook it for so long. And if you cook it for so long, it starts to, it feels soggy, and I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's best to add this as your final ingredient, and then you're just going to cover your pot and let it cook and just do its thing for another 5 minutes. This soup really doesn't take time to cook. Tops, it will probably take you, say, 10-15 minutes to cook. So it's not a soup that takes really long to cook. So yeah, that's it. That's how to make Edikaikong, guys. Don't be intimidated. It's actually very simple soup to cook. So this is just a closer look. You can see that the soup is not watery, it's not so dry, it just has like the perfect consistency for any swallow. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.